Hello everyone, and thank you for being part of the Arsenal chapter, and please subscribe and ring that notification bell so you do not miss it on whatever I've got to bring to as long as it is sports and as long as it is Arsenal related right about here at the Arsenal chapter with me, your very host Abukals, as I'm definitely dedicated to bring to you the latest straight as it comes in, as long as it is Arsenal related and as long as it is sports right about here at the Arsenal chapter with me, your very number one host Abukals. We definitely are here to talk about a few things, and one of the big things that we are talking about is the transfer business at the club Arsenal, with the fact that a few football players have already been linked to the club Arsenal. We have got the likes of Romeo Lavia, Moises Caicedo, and very many more. And right about now, let's head into what has brought us today, and we're gonna be talking about a few more football players and what is happening with Thomas Partey being linked to Saudi Pro League. The Saudi Pro League wants quite a big number of football players in the Premier League, and it is being reportedly said that the football player Thomas Partey is one of the targets in the Saudi Pro League. And right about now, we're going to be talking about here and there. And right about now, we definitely know that Arsenal actually has got a few football players in. Confirmed 3 football players have already signed for the club Arsenal. And we are talking about a football player with the first signing of the season, who was Kai Havertz, was signed at around £65 million from the club Chelsea. And the second signing has been Jurrien Timber, who signs for the club Arsenal from Ajax Amsterdam at £38.7 million, and that was quite big money for Ajax Amsterdam, and they were definitely very happy with what they got from the club Arsenal. And Jurrien Timber is glad to play for the club Arsenal, as he says that he's been a big supporter from his childhood. He's always wanted to play for Arsenal. It's not just like those stories that people really make up. He has been a big supporter of the club Arsenal, and we've seen him putting on Arsenal jerseys when he's been young. So it was quite not very complicated for him to make a switch to the Premier League from the Eredivisie. You will remember that Manchester United wanted the football player, but Manchester United did not. Go on and get the football player because he preferred moving to the club Arsenal. So, having said that, he was the second signing of the summer transfer window, and the third summer transfer window was a record transfer from Jurrien Timber this time around. Is Declan Rice from West Ham. I will remember that Declan Rice signed a deal, a 5-year contract deal that was worth £105 million for the club Arsenal, and Arsenal were very happy to have him, with West Ham making quite a bit of money really in their £105 million is massive money for West Ham. I think they have reaped what they sowed really, because they got a big football player to the scene, and they definitely sold him, and they have made quite big money, and they can enjoy the money. They can really plan ahead. Anyway, let's really, I hope Declan Rice will really make a big move to the club. He's already made a big move. Let's hope that he will perform quite well when he is at the club Arsenal. And right about now, we're going to be talking about a few more football players who's linked to an exit, and also who is definitely going to be remaining at the club Arsenal, as Arsenal is looking at different ways on how they can make reinforcements. Mikel Arteta and Edu Gaspar, who is the current sporting director, and Mikel Arteta, who is the manager of Arsenal, they're looking at getting a few more football players in. And right about now, actually today, Mikel Arteta's come out and said, when he's been asked, because Arsenal has spent £208 million, and he's been asked whether there is another football player that the club should really be waiting for. Should we anticipate that there's going to be another signing? And he's replied and said, never say never. There's a big possibility that we're going to sign a striker, a big chance that Arsenal is going for a striker. And the reason as to why Arsenal could be going for a striker is because Gabriel Jesus really needs big competition. Gabriel Jesus is a big striker, and I know, and you already know that there is Nelson, no Reece Nelson. There is a young lad in there. I can see his face. I don't know why it's disappearing off my mind. Ooh, Edin Ketia. Yeah, so there is Edin Ketia, you know. So Edin Ketia really will be put to know that Edin Ketia is a very good football player and is a good striker and is an alternative for Gabriel Jesus, but it doesn't bring in quite that competition. Gabriel Jesus needs a better football player, and there is quite big competition, and even if all the three football players are definitely in, that would give the game even a much better sense of football. Really, we could definitely be seeing things running on quite well for the club. Arsenal having three football players, three good football players, that would definitely be quite brilliant. Let us know what you're watching from, where you're watching from, which part of the world, which part of the country you're watching from, and make your point, subscribe and ring that notification bell so you do not miss out on whatever I've got to bring to you, as long as it's sports and as long as it's Arsenal related right about here at the Arsenal chapter, as I'm definitely dedicated to bringing to you the latest straight as it comes in. You will be remembered still that the football player now that we are going to be talking about is Moises Caicedo. You will be remembered that Moises Caicedo is a Brighton and Hove football player, still young, around 21 years of age. Moises Caicedo is the best, regarded as the best defensive midfielder in the Premier League, and will be remembered still that he's been linked to quite a big number of clubs, with the fact that Chelsea has had quite big talks with the football player. Newcastle United were also interested in the football player. Arsenal are in line to get the football player, but also Manchester United has been linked to the football player Moises Caicedo. Some people wondering what is his worth, how much is Arsenal planning to bid on Moises Caicedo. We'll be remembered that Moises Caicedo was valued at £100 million, and £100 million is really quite big money, and that's what Brighton and Hove are saying that they definitely need. However, Chelsea has tried to get the football player, and they have failed. Chelsea has gone on and put in a bid that is worth £70 million, and Chelsea has failed. This bid has been rejected immediately, and this information I'm giving you is from today. So we definitely know that Moises Caicedo really is not going to Chelsea just any soon, because their bid has been rejected, and it is a £70 million bid. So what do you think that Arsenal should bid? How much do you think Arsenal should bid on the football player Moises Caicedo? So if Arsenal is to bid on Moises Caicedo, it should be something that is definitely more than £70 million, because the £70 million that Chelsea put in was rejected, and now that definitely means Arsenal could be heading to put in a bid that could possibly be around £80 million, 75 to £80 million. And the question is, with the fact that Arsenal has already spent £205 million, actually £208 million, do you think there is a big possibility? Do you think there is a chance for Arsenal to spend more than £200 million in the summer transfer window? And the answer is yes, because Mikel Arteta has come out today and said it and put it out there and said that there is a big possibility that they're going to stretch their budget. It could actually even go to something that is more than £300 million, and that definitely means that Arsenal could definitely get the football player of their choice, and that's Moises Caicedo. And I think the fact that Arsenal is looking for a defensive midfielder, that would definitely do quite great. The fact that Arsenal has already got a few football players, it will be remembered that a few football players have already signed for the club Arsenal, with Kai Havertz being the first football player who signed for the club Arsenal. And despite the fact that Kai Havertz has already signed for the football club Arsenal, there's been yet another football player who's already signed for the club Arsenal, and that is none other than Jurrien Timber. Jurrien Timber is a great talent, he's a very good football player, and the fact that he's already signed for Arsenal at a fee that was disclosed recently, that is actually 38.7 million pound. And also Declan Rice really signing for the club Arsenal at 105 million pound. That definitely shows you that the football player, the football squad has quite good football players. 3 of them in a row signed, deal done, sealed and confirmed. And with the fact that Arsenal fans were sort of getting worried, because they definitely need more football players in, and Mikel Arteta has come out and said, given his confirmations, and said that it is okay, we're still in the game, it is still early, and we've got quite a lot. But do not forget also that Arsenal is looking at selling a few football players, and if Arsenal sells to the Saudi League, that definitely means that they can get more football players. And one of the football players that they can definitely get, who's that? Moises Caicedo. Moises Caicedo should definitely be a very good one and a very brilliant one. And Romeo Lavia. And the fact that they are being valued at quite big money, the fact that Arsenal could really sell Thomas Partey at a figure that is around, big figure that is around £50 million, and they get a football player. And also Balogun is really out there. Balogun is heading for an exit of the club, and Arsenal have slapped a £50 million transfer business deal. If you really need a Balogun, you definitely have to have £50 million, either £50 million or no deal. And that's what Balogun's deal really says. So we could definitely be seeing a lot of football players really moving out of the club, and that definitely means that Arsenal can afford Moises Caicedo, and it also can afford Romeo Lavia. Though we've not talked about Romeo Lavia, let's get deep into the Romeo Lavia transfer. If you've not yet subscribed, please subscribe and ring that notification bell so that you do not miss out on whatever I've got to bring to, as long as it's sports and as long as it is Arsenal related, right about here at the Arsenal chapter with me, your very host, Abu Carls. So let's get the party started again. Let's talk about Romeo Lavia. So I will remember that Romeo Lavia is a Southampton football player who plays as a defender for the Southampton club, and he's been linked to quite a big number of clubs. The fact that he's been playing for Southampton, really, he's also been playing for he actually was playing for the club before going to Southampton. He was playing for which club is that? Manchester City. Was playing for Manchester City, and the fact that he's been playing for Manchester City, then going to Southampton, we thought they could possibly be remaining at Southampton for a bit of time, but things have not gone on quite well for him, and he's being relegated. He's in the relegation zone. Southampton is in the relegation zone, and that definitely puts Romeo Lavia in the relegation zone, but that's not a place that Romeo Lavia, who is a big talent, should really be, and that's why the current manager of Liverpool, Jurgen Klopp, is looking at getting him. And not only is Jurgen Klopp looking at getting him, it will be remembered that Mikel Arteta is also he has his hands, he definitely has his hands open for Romeo Lavia, with Manchester United also eyeing Romeo Lavia, Chelsea also eyeing Romeo Lavia, who could be the best football club that is going to sign the football player. Let's really hope that the club Arsenal can finalize this deal, as it is reportedly said that there has been talks between Romeo Lavia and the club Arsenal about him joining the club Arsenal. Personal terms shouldn't be a problem really when it comes to the transfer of Romeo Lavia. I mean, you're getting to a club like Arsenal, we do not expect any personal terms to be a big problem, and I don't remember a time when personal terms have been a problem for the club Arsenal. It's always smooth when it comes to personal terms, and let's hope that everything will go on quite well and Arsenal can land the football player that is valued around 40 to 50 million pounds. Do you think it is worth to get him at that amount of money, or the club Arsenal really needs to negotiate? However, when we talk about negotiations and football negotiations as regards to Romeo Lavia, we'll remember that there are a number of football clubs that are interested in Romeo Lavia. When you get into the fact that you want to go for negotiations with a club, then in most cases, if you're not serious about your negotiations and going too low, you will lose out on the football player, because it is very known that quite a big number of football clubs are interested in Romeo Lavia. He is a big talent, and he's definitely one to have by any club. So you can let us know what you definitely think in the comment section about Romeo Lavia, Moises Caicedo, and also the new signings and what Mikel Arteta has come out and said, because he's given us confirmations that he's gonna sign a few more football players, and that definitely is quite good for all Arsenal fans, because every Arsenal fan really needs a new squad. Definitely the last squad did quite well, I must say, but it did not manage to win the Premier League, and that's why reinforcement in that squad is definitely something that Mikel Arteta has been looking at and also doing. Let's hope really everything goes on quite well and as planned for the club Arsenal, as we already know that Arsenal is into this summer transfer window trying to get a few football players players, with some of the football players like Tierney heading for an exit. He's been linked to a number of clubs. We've got quite a big number of football players that could definitely be leaving the club Arsenal, and that puts quite a lot of money on table for the club Arsenal to finance its transfer business. And it will be remembered still that Stan Kroenke has said that he definitely is willing to dash out any amount of money that Mikel Arteta needs, as long as it is within the fair financial player rules. He doesn't want to breach the FFP rules, and that's quite understandable. We cannot blame him for that, and nobody will ever blame him for that. In the fact that they have already given out a bit of money, I mean £208 million, that's quite a lot of money, and Arsenal has already spent that amount of money, and Arsenal is still looking at spending at least more £100 million. Otherwise, thank you for being part of the Arsenal chapter, and please subscribe and ring that notification bell so that you do not miss out on whatever I've got to bring to, as long as it's posted, as long as it is Arsenal related, right about here, the Arsenal chapter, with me, your very host, Abu Karl. So thank you and goodbye for now.